Did you see it? The unicorn standing right there at the edge of the woods. There's sometimes in the late afternoon, just before sunset, if you come out here, you'll see little lawn fairies running around, dancing. They're probably related to tooth fairies. Never seen the tooth fairy? Really? Come on. You know, in Ireland, there's some places that if you said there was no such thing as a leprechaun, you'd probably end up with a bloody nose. What am I talking about? You know, when we were kids, how things could be so real. There was a wonderful Robert Louis Stevenson's movie uh, of pirates and the Pirate's Treasure, and it was just Walt Disney had put it together, I think. And of course, then they're selling all the toys that go with it. So there was this double cap thing, gun that was part of it. There's just all kinds of wonderful, wonderful treasures that you kids could play with. And I remember how excited I was about all of that. It was just like, oh, I'm a pirate. I had a little pirate thing over my eye. It was just a wonderful, relatively short period of my life where the Disney World characters were real. You know, you have talking dogs and rich ducks and little mice that it's just wonderful and goofy. Come on. Who doesn't like goofy? The power of the imagination. There's so many stories in medicine these days of people who believe something and their body responds to it. We call it the placebo effect when it has to do with medications, but psychologically it happens to people. Um, there was a story that came out of Afghanistan where there was a small troop of people outnumbered, kind of everybody was shooting at them. One by one, the soldiers were dying, and this fellow had some kind of a machine gun that still needed ammunition being fed into it. And the person who was loading the ammo or getting the ammo for him was shot and kind of fell behind him and was asking for help. Wanted a canteen, just a drink of water, and his buddy was there and had to now feed the machine with two hands and couldn't figure out how to get the canteen back to him and continue to shoot and protect their environment there. Eventually, they were overwhelmed. He became a prisoner of war, was released, and went home. And little by little, his left arm became paralyzed. And as he's talking and working with physicians, neurosurgeons, everybody else, he can't quite figure out what's happening. The arm's fine. Why is this not working? And eventually told this story. And as he's talking to the therapist realizes, well, you could have handed that canteen back to him. He did. He was dying. I mean, his last sip of water. And in that process, the guilt about not doing that had caused the arm to gradually, little by little, become paralyzed. As he was able to forgive himself for that, he got the sensation back into his arm, and little by little it recovered. No medical intervention other than forgiveness and some perspective. The world, our reality, our world is shaped so much by what we believe. Who says there aren't little fairies and unicorns running around the world? Tell that to my granddaughter who has unicorns all over the place. And I'm sure that in her dreams and in her imagination, and probably in her world as she's looking out at the window on the way to school or preschool back and back again, is that she sees the unicorns. They're real to her. We're the ones that stop living in that world of imagination and possibility. You know what happens when we do that? The reality of the world comes in on us. And instead of life being for us and supporting us and carrying us to unimaginable blessings, we shut that off. Well, that's just not real. And then added to that, sometimes people come to therapists and tell us what's going on and how can we fix it. And together it's like, well, you fix me. You take care of this for me. It's like, it's really not how it works. Oh, you mean I have to do something? I have to change my thinking. I have to shift, or I have to forgive, or I have to bless, or whatever. It's like, yeah, you have to do this. And I'm sure it's the same with the family practice person who is working with a client who wants to lose weight. And he or she says, well, I've done everything. Well, we already know that's not true. You haven't done everything. But can you fix me? Can you help me? And in this country, in the United States, where I am, we're at the point where we've invented medicines that you just inject into yourself and the weight will come off. Don't have to change anything. In fact, that's part of the marketing tool is you don't have to change anything. You don't have to shift your diet. You don't have to add or subtract exercise. You don't have to do anything. The weight will just melt off. Billions of dollars. Really? Does it work? Yeah, for some people. Stomach sleeves works for some people. Now, I'm not blaming the victim here. I'm questioning, why do we have victims? That is like the person who didn't get the water jug to his friend. That's self-imposed. What is a hardship for one person can be a blessing for someone else. I saw a documentary the other day on horses, and one of the places they went to were the Mongolian horses, and these are horses that are adapted to live in summer weather when it's up to 80 degrees, and in winter weather when it's down to 40 below, and they spend their entire lifetime outside. And so they're adapted physically. They are adapted, rather. They may be adopted too, but they are adapted to living in those kind of conditions. They have this amazing fur coat, short little legs, and they're used as work animals. So we can adapt. Things can happen. Why can't there be unicorns and fairies? If enough people believe that it's possible, the universe came and supported that concept of an animal that can live in these extreme conditions and have a normal, good, happy life. Not for me. I like New England. I like the change of the seasons. I wouldn't want all one season. Sometimes I think about it, but then I've talked to people who have experienced that in their lifetime, where they've lived it, where there's very little difference between one day or another. It's just that the Christmas lights come out or the Hanukkah candles appear, and it's that end of the year already, and then the new year starts, and it's kind of no change, no weather change. So no, I think I'll stay in New England. I like the variety. Anyway, what am I saying? What's the point of all of this? Is that much of your life and much of the quality of your life and much of the happiness and joy is really locked up in your thinking. If you're not living an amazing life and just excited to be here, that's where the change and shifts need to happen. It's in your thinking. It's in the level of your mindfulness. What's running? What's that unconscious tape going on in the background? Is it I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm in love, I am loved, I am wealthy, I am happy, I am successful, I am, or is it another day, this is another problem, why does this always happen to me? I can't, I'm this, I'm that, da 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 da. Where are you in that? And wherever you hear yourself answering that question, it's probably you're not in the present moment. Because when we're in the present moment, then we can actually do something, because the past is the past. I can't undo what's been done. The future isn't here yet, but that's in that field of potential. It's not formed. It's energy. It's waiting to be. And what is it shaped by? Our thinking. My thinking shapes mine. Your thinking shapes yours. So how do we think like a person who has what it is that we want to have? I'm going to be doing a course in the near future on how you begin to shift that thinking and how reality conforms and comes into shape with that. It's a short course. We're going to do it for 4 weeks. We're going to experiment together, and we'll learn some of the lessons and some of the exercises that make it happen, and we'll pick goals that you can experience within 4 hours, but we'll allow ourselves those 4 weeks to sort of make the shifts and transitions, and then deal with the questions that come up, and the why isn't this working for me? I keep hearing it. Well, it doesn't work for me. Well, yeah, because if you're like in the group of, actually, I just heard the other day, it's a statistic for the world that over 80% of the people who go to work in the world don't like what they're doing. Are you kidding me? The old economy died, and the last little bit of it died with COVID. When companies had to make that shift, they couldn't have everybody kind of in place, so they had to shift, adjust, and adapt. We're going much more into a creator economy and a supportive economy where we're helping each other. We're dropping the idea of competition. We're doing cooperation and working together for a mutual good. It's a shift that's happening. Now, there's some pockets here and there trying to resist it, and trying to hang on to the old way of doing things and the way it used to be, and the good old days and all that. Those good old days are gone. You can dream about them all you want, but they're not happening. We're not coming back to it. In fact, I'd like to see us go all the way to a place where we think it's absurd to kill each other. We think it's absurd to go to war. I mean, we're only here for a nanosecond. Well, we're here maybe for 100 years. There's a few blue zones left. But in that time, what difference does it make if I kill you? How will that change my life? It doesn't. It doesn't make it any better. If we could just be at a place where, okay, we all get to live, and then we shift the thinking from life is terrible to life is amazing. And no, we can't do that for each other. I can't make this shift for you. You could make it, but I can't make it for you. It's like the person who comes in, Tom, I've tried everything. How do I lose weight? How about hypnosis? Yes, we can use hypnosis. And yes, it will help in the process. We can change the thinking, but it's not going to get you into a place where you have muscle. I mean, after my surgery a few months ago, I had to go back to the gym. I'm actually almost in better shape than I was before. I'm certainly in better shape than I was when I went in. Though I was running and exercising, but it wasn't consistent. This has been consistent every day. Adding weights now, and I'm getting back to the level of strength that I had before, and I can see how overall it's more balanced, that it's probably going to continue to be even better. But yeah, we have to do those things. I have to, when I sit down at a dinner, however good it may be, I can't pretend it's my last meal, that I'm never going to get any more food. It's like, no, Tom, you eat for this meal. This is it. And it's making those adjustments, and I've struggled with weight my entire life, so it's not actually, when I was a kid I didn't, but as I got to be an adult, You know, the lowest I had been was the highest I was as a kid in my 20s and into my 30s. It's like, well, I flipped that one around because I wasn't as active. I mean, there were things that I was doing and I was eating differently. And so it's making those changes and adjustments that heal and help us. But it required a mind shift change. It begins in your head. So we've talked about this before, but I want to remind you, what's depression? Depression is a mind disease. It's a thought disorder that keeps us locked in the past with our regrets and our coulda, woulda, shouldas and all the things that we wanted to have different. And we kind of sink lower and lower and lower until we get to the bottom of helplessness and hopelessness. And there's nothing left for me except suicide. It's around an issue that I can't change. And as I look into the future, I don't see it changing. It's a mind shift. We can talk about how to do that. We're going to cover that in the 4 weeks that we're together. And then what's anxiety and fear and all of the anxious diseases? They're all out in the future. It's like when that thick London fog of the unknown is approaching me and I feel it getting closer and closer and closer and I can't probe into it and figure out what's going on and find a solution. Then I become anxious and anxiety gets higher and higher and it feels like the next step I'm ready to step off a cliff or there's something behind me that's going to swallow me alive. And finding in the mental shift that I'm protected by a loving, kind, caring universe that has my back and has my next step. And either it's solid ground or I have a parachute or I sprout wings and I learn how to fly and I take my flying lessons. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to go in and look in the next few weeks. What flying lessons do I need so I can go into life every day filled with excitement and joy and enthusiasm? And at the end of the day, find peace, prosperity, happiness, satisfaction beyond my wildest dreams. I wish would be to teach the world to sing, but all we can do is sort of learn the tune for ourselves. And then by a kind of a contagious infection, sort of like COVID, other people catch it and try it out and find out it's much better and it gets them the results. Why? Because it's in the universe. It's the nature of this incredible world that we live in and on, and the whole solar system, and the energies that are creative energies like out at the edge. We watch the Hubble telescope and we kind of see the stars being born. It's not quite how we imagined it to be, but there are still new stars, and there's the chunks of them that go out. They're still hot, flaming, then they cool out in the universe, and then they become sort of a solar system around each solar star. And then all these different stars gather around. They become part of a galaxy. And now we live in a sea of galaxies that seems to be endless. That's reality. When people say get real, I'd say, yeah, get real and get tapped into that energy that's there and the infinite intelligence of that energy. And then recognize, as I did once again in a near-death experience in December of 2024, where I had the choice. I could stay in 2024 or come out of the closet, or at least come out of the conference room, or come out of the therapy room and begin to talk and share what I've been sharing with people for a long time, one-on-one, with everybody. This is the reality. If you want a different life, it starts in your head. It starts between your ears. It's the thinking that makes it so. I'm looking forward to exploring this with you and sharing your ideas and your feedback. In terms of the YouTube, write your comments below. Let's begin the dialogue now. And I so am looking forward to your life shifting and changing just as mine has been and will continue to be. To be able to really enjoy being here and being alive. And I'm so grateful that I got to move from 24 into 25 and feel that feeling of thriving and aliveness. Looking forward to sharing more and more of that with you on the channel and in our class, in our work together. Remember to like, subscribe, and then share with others who might benefit from this video. I'm wishing you all the best. Lots of fairies dancing on your lawn and tons of unicorns wherever you look. You can use the power of your imagination to turn your life into the dream that I know inside you believe in, you feel, you recognize, you know. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here with me. The next video, I'm going to give you some exercises, some techniques to manifest this quicker. So stay tuned. Come back. If it's already been posted, then we'll connect the next video to this one so you can kind of know where to go from here. Namaste. Thank you.